Elbaf won't live up to its hype. Now, that may not be entirely true, but Elbaf won't be all the cool giants and awesome fights like we've been hoping for since Little Garden. Rather, Oda has made it so Elbaf will be the island the Straw Hats end up spending the most time at since the New World, which makes sense since it's been so hyped up. It'll even involve a time skip, and I'll even help try to explain this to you through the evidence Oda laid out mixed with my reasoning. This video will contain manga spoilers, so you have been warned. When Oda was making Egghead, I think he made it very similar to Sabaody on purpose. I think having Kizaru and Kuma be there was no accident. These two characters who first showed off at Sabaody are now making a return. Another similarity that links Sabaody and Egghead is the government tech. In Sabaody, we see the pacifistas. These are copies of Kuma, who is only one of the 7 warlords of the sea. But in Egghead, we see all 7 of the warlords recreated. To touch on this government tech a little bit deeper, I think it's really important that we take the pacifistas and Seraphim's power into perspective. I know. Power scaling in One Piece is only something that the criminally insane should do, but please stick with me. For the pacifistas, I'm looking at Sabaody and the current level of the Straw Hats at that point. So the Straw Hats at that point would be able to take down a single pacifista when working together, but there's no way that they would have any shot taking down a whole squad of pacifistas. Now, when we take a look at Egghead, the Straw Hats could take down a Seraphim, but there's no way that they're taking down all 7 right now. And now to go back even further and make another comparison, I'm going to quickly compare Wano to Thriller Bark. Alright, let's do it. Wano and Thriller Bark are both countries owned by what we think of as the strongest people at the time, being a warlord and now a Yonko. Both times it seems like Luffy has died while fighting, and they have been some of the hardest fights for the Straw Hats to compete in. So why are these fights so hard for the Straw Hats? It's because their power is starting to match up with the people around them. Both Wano and Thriller Bark represent a close end to the Grand Line in New World, and Sabaody and Egghead both represent a closing in on times of war, a war which none of the Straw Hats are prepared for. Sabaody sits underneath Marijois, and Egghead sits underneath the 5 Elders' thumbs. They're both places where we get to see a hidden side of the world. In Sabaody, we saw the truth of the Celestial Dragons, with their slavery and entitlement, and their disdain for the world outside of themselves. The people of Marijois think of the rest of the world as just insects, and I think it's summarized perfectly in this line from Mars in one of the recent chapters. It's hard to single out a lone insect when you're exterminating the hive. It's very familiar to the Celestial Dragons, who don't care about their slaves at all. We know Luffy is upset by this, but there's nothing he can do. He can fight the 5 Elders as he might, just like he punched the Celestial Dragons, but in the end, it won't do anything. He's not strong enough, and in the end he's gonna have to run away, just like on Sabaody. He's gonna get sent away, otherwise he'll be killed. So they're running away from Egghead right now, to their haven, which is Elbaf. So now, 3 minutes into the video, we're finally at the point where I tell you why Elbaf is going to be a time skip, and not a full arc. We're about to go to an island where Luffy's friends with all of the people there, and provide great protection from any threats. So, what's the point of staying there? Why would we focus on Elbaf when there's so much going on in the rest of the world? There's so many other things we should be focusing on, and that one fact is exactly why we're gonna have a time skip. The Straw Hats are finding themselves barreling towards their final war, the war with the world government, and just like Luffy's war at Marineford, he does not want to let any of his friends die. So Elbaf is going to be his place to ensure that doesn't happen by training up the crew. Because let's be honest, do you think a character like Usopp or Nami are anywhere close to the strength they need to take down any CP9 agent, any Seraphim, or any 5 Elder for that matter of fact? No. So we need this training arc, and it's long overdue. So how will Usopp become a mighty warrior of the sea? Well, first we need to jump around a little bit. Boa Hancock was just attacked by Blackbeard, and has decided she can't stay on her island much longer. And I have a feeling she's going to meet up with the Straw Hats at Elbaf, and for a few reasons. The first and most obvious is her obsession with Luffy, but another one is to help train Usopp. We know the Kuja pirates are able to coat their arrows in hockey, and I have a feeling that they'll use this to help assist Usopp in learning his observation and armament hockey to more effectively use his slingshot. I hope you guys see where I'm going with this, because I'm about to dive way deeper. For Chopper on the Island of Giants, besides Luffy, he's the only character who can actually match their size, so he needs to start training his strength. Our cute lovable emergency food can't do anything. I mean, he was able to go in monster form in WWE Slam Queen, but that lasted 3 minutes, and then after that, he was down and out for the count. And I think comparing those 3 minutes of fighting to Dorian Brogy's 100 years, Chopper could really learn a thing or two from these two giants. As much as Chopper is the Straw Hat's doctor, during a war, I doubt he can do much healing. So he's going to really focus on building up that pure physical strength, and maybe even armament hockey along the way. For our navigator Nami, whose name is literally the end of Tsunami, it makes sense that at some point she'd be able to control the sea. And now that she has Zeus, I think it's a lot more fitting that she has another god at her side, Poseidon. Well, not really having a god at her side, rather having Poseidon's trident. I think this trident will be a great upgrade to her climate baton, since she's long overdue for some much needed upgrades. And I think this trident will allow her to harness the power of the sea using Zeus. I also think that she could learn observation hockey, just like Enel. For Frankie, since we just left Egghead Island, maybe the most technologically advanced place in the One Piece world that will ever exist, it's very obvious to me that he is leaving with hundreds of schematics and getting an entirely another revamp. So you guys know what happens with the Straw Hats, but what is going to happen with the rest of the world of One Piece? Well, it's all about to get revealed. Oda even said you could start reading One Piece right now, and you'll know everything. Why is this? Because right now, we genuinely know nothing about One Piece. I mean, just think about it. We have Shanks and Mihawk. We know nothing about them. Blackbeard's dream. We know nothing. The three ancient weapons, we haven't seen them really be used. Emu and the Five Elders we're only just now learning about. What the Revolutionary Army has been up to all this time. How much damage have they actually caused? The entire direction of One Piece is about to be displayed during Elbaf. So of course we can't focus on the Straw Hats, and of course a bunch of time's gonna go by. We are about to see the true secrets of the world, and in doing so, we're about to have the craziest arc, and it won't be like Skypiea where everything's foreshadowed. This is going to be blatant, objective truths about the One Piece world. I mean, we are going to get definitive answers to all the questions we've been having. You guys have made it pretty far into the video, so thank you. It means a lot. I put a lot of time into making this video, and I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it enough to watch to this point. I have one quick thing to mention though. If you scroll down real quick, you'll probably see a red box that says subscribe. Now the funny thing about that box is when you click it or tap it, it actually puts my channel into a whole section of your YouTube. And judging based off the fact that you watched this far into the video to hear this, it seems like you liked my content, and having my videos isolated from the other ones in that tab would do you guys a really good favor. But it would also do me a really good favor. It would show your support to me, and it would mean a lot. Another thing that would mean so much to me is if you guys went down to the comments and let me know your thoughts. You guys just watched an 8-minute video about this, and I think if you could take 1 minute out of your day to leave a comment about your thoughts on Elbaf or just my video in general, it would mean so much. So thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of your day.